everyone. Happy Valentine's month. Happy month of love. Jimmy Mack and I have another video for you. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, how are you?
Fantastic. And I love your background.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you. Yeah, I love it too. It's subtle, but it's still in there. So
yep.
I like
Before
subtle.
you guys, before I pressed record, I was telling him I need that background as a matchmaker. I'm going to go find it immediately.
I'm gonna send it to
Oh,
you.
send it to me. Yes.
Yeah.
So great. So, we are going to change some energy around love and relationships. We're going to pull some cards. We're going to talk about dating and relationships. It's a big topic. And I know a lot of people, Jimmy, around Valentine's, the singles, it's really the single ladies that start kind of panicking like, oh, I want to get in a relationship. I want to have kids. The clock is ticking. And then the pressure around what society, what the advertising does about having somebody at Valentine's Day.
Right.
Right?
Right. Well, I'd add to that. It's societal, political. It's religious. It's education even. And I'd refer to it as, brought to you by Hallmark, right? So
Yes,
they
yes.
want to sell cards. Everybody wants to sell the flowers, the candy. It's the biggest candy sale of the year is February for them. All of
Yeah.
them,
And
Hershey,
pajamas and
Whitman's,
teddy
whatever,
bears. Yeah, right?
whatever, all of
Yes.
it. There's
All of it. All of it.
the Valentine's tchotchkes. So,
The tchotchkes. But I do like how it does make me happy to see all
hmm
the hearts out there and the
yeah,
flowers. And so, bringing it in for yourself as self love, what love you can do for somebody else. I like to send Valentine's cards to my friends, to my girlfriends, Galentine. Also, I think we can do like a rich self love ritual, would be great to do for Valentine's Day, right?
absolutely.
Right. Well, we are going to do some of that, but I'll pull some cards for us and see what comes up and kind of channel a message for you lovebirds out there. I'm going to call everybody my little lovebirds.
I
All
love
right.
it.
So the first thing I've got, I'm not wearing my glasses and I can actually read this. Rejoice. All right, rejoice. This is from a mystical moon deck. And so rejoicing in everything that we have, giving ourselves a lot of gratitude. And and that came out giving ourselves gratitude for all the things we do because sometimes we put ourselves down. I haven't done enough. I haven't accomplished this. I haven't lost the weight I said I'd lose. But give ourselves gratitude for all the things we do for ourselves, right? I
Absolutely.
always talk about
Yeah,
gratitude for everything else, but gratitude for ourselves.
absolutely. And I'd stay out of woulda, shoulda, coulda, or being melancholy about that past relationship or Freddie was the one in high school or whatever. It's like, Joe Dispenza always says all that in the past is called so what? And he
Yes.
isn't being flippant. He's just saying you got to get past that, deal in this very moment. And I always say lean a little bit into the future. And that's it.
Exactly. And the next card is fairy tale. How perfect, because
I
women
love
tend to
that.
fall in, but we tend to fall into that fairy tale when we're Cinderella. When I was a little girl growing up in the 60s, oh, I loved Cinderella, Snow White, all of those. And I'd have them on records and listen to it and think. And I used to wish I was a princess because we had Princess and the Pea and we had Rapunzel and we had all of those fairy tales. I was really brought up on the Grimm's fairy tales and fairy tales. And I think that's many of us think they have to have this image of the perfect man, tall, dark, and handsome, coming up to save you. And we've got to kind of move out of that fairy tale because things have shifted quite a bit. And we don't want to look outside of ourselves for someone to save us. We do like that masculine feminine role, that beautiful synergy there. But what do you have to say about that, Jimmy?
Yeah. And I would say it's a lot of give and take. And it's high functioning, and you really still have to have that give and take vibe. It's like what are you bringing to the relationship, and what are you contributing to it? And I
Yes.
think that's huge. You like you said, and that is just paramount to get out of that looking out the window, waiting for somebody to come rescue you, whether it's man or woman, whatever it may be,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, but if you work on yourself first and really develop a higher level of self love, then you radiate that out, you raise your level, you wind up with somebody better.
Yeah, because that's putting out a lack, a desperation, all
Hmm.
of that when you're waiting. So mystical. I love this kind of, we've got these kind of mystical witches there. Mystical, remember your magic. That's always my message is you are magic. Remember how
You are
special
magic.
you are magic, tap into it. And I feel like that Valentine month is very magical because we're thinking of Cupid, we're thinking of that I don't know, it's just for me, it's as magical as Christmas almost, it does have a very special magic because love has that high frequency energy.
100%. You're
All right.
spot on.
So I've got my beautiful pendulum. Look at this one. It's like a what do we call this shape? I don't know. I don't
It
know,
is.
but
It's
it's
unusual.
like a
Yeah, it's
Metatron cube
unusual.
kind of thing. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it really is. It
Something it's
really
really
is.
cool. So um
Yeah,
all right. Well, I think let's move that energy, heal the wounds around the fairy tale, waiting for someone to pick us. Let's heal that.
yeah. And so let's release and resolve that, deactivate it, delete it, and disentangle it now. And we're taking out someone to rescue us, someone to complete us is what comes
Right.
through. So be complete in and of yourself, and
So
that
that's
takes a
going
long way.
clockwise,
Yeah.
and we'll
And
see.
it's grabbing all that.
Yeah. And here it goes. It's
There it
unwinding.
goes. And now it's the unwinding.
It is a big one because when I give readings and when I give, especially like if somebody calls me on the psychic hotline and they're really the women, it's not once in a while a man will call me, but the women are really distraught if they've been ghosted or they've met someone and they don't know what the guy is thinking. And so it's really giving our power away. It's allowing someone else to decide what's going to happen in your life. Like, well, this person is not doing what they're saying they're doing. They've shown that they're flaky. They've shown that they're not honest. And yet you're still hoping, are they going to call? So is it really somebody that is showing you that that's the quality that you want in your life, or is it I almost think it's that oxytocin that gets released, that excitement and wanting them to pick you, wanting them to pick me. And so we've got to get out of that and reel it back and say, hey, let me decide, let me pick who's good for my life. Right?
Absolutely. And I'd add to that, it's all about, without breaking too much man code, it will always be deeds and not words. So they
Yes.
might chat you up on the phone and text and, hey, beautiful, but if they never get together with you, they never formalize the date. You don't get a present from them from Valentine's Day, no matter how small or unique or thoughtful, and you've been with them for months. It's like, yeah, that's all you need to know, right?
That's all you need
That's
to
your
know.
spot.
And people say, but he said da 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 da. But yeah, but what is he doing?
Right.
And
What is he
add,
doing?
don't read too much into Valentine's gifts. Like, well, he only gave me, one rose, or he only did this, or it's men don't always know. They don't think about it. If they did something, a little card, just be happy. It's because I think women set these rules as well. That's too high standard for somebody. Can't read your mind. Well, he knows I don't. Well, he knows I'm on a diet. Why'd he give me chocolates? Or he knows I don't like, daisies,
Right.
whatever.
And I would say to all the beautiful women, I mean, communicate that. If you're
Yes.
on a diet, hey, don't get me chocolates. It's okay to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would add to it, well, then that opens it up to, what in the world do I get her now? It's going to get her chocolates. Well, I don't want chocolates, but I'd love some fresh cut flowers or
Or
whatever.
even if he does and you don't want
Yeah.
it or you don't like
Mhm.
it, don't let's say that. Just take it's a
Mhm.
gift he thought for it. Say thank you. You can
Mhm.
always share those chocolates with your neighbor, a friend, let him sit there. Take a bite, take one. It's not going to do anything. You can walk around the
Yes,
block.
yes. And
So yeah,
it's all about really the thought and the word and the process or deed.
exactly.
So at least they thought of getting you something.
Yes.
And again, to your point too, on restaurants, if they hate Italian or love Mexican or whatever it is, if you're dating somebody, tell them that. I'd really
Mhm.
love to go to that new Italian place, that sort of thing, because
Right.
otherwise you're gonna wind up at Chili's or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Okay. Yes. All right. So let's call some love in.
Definitely, definitely. So
Oh, it's already moving.
we're gonna add it, activate it, and throughout every depth, height, and angle, all that's known and unknown, named and unnamed, and bring all that in now, and especially self-love, and
Self-love
see
is
that come in.
key.
It is,
Yes.
because you radiate that out and you end up attracting someone who also may radiate out self-love,
Yes.
or at least be on board for
People who
residual.
come into our life are mirrors of us,
Hmm.
what we're putting out. We are signal senders. Okay, here it goes. Here it goes.
And there it goes. It's coming in now.
Hmm.
And I'm East Coast, she's West Coast, so it takes a second.
Yes. I'm in Seattle right now, you guys, for now. I'll be
I'm
in
in
Los Angeles
Florida.
all of February. I'm always in LA for February, going to the Conscious Life Expo, enjoying the things that's going on. I'm going to go to a sound bath with a girlfriend.
It's
That's always
awesome.
fun too. Pick
Hmm.
something, pick something fun to do, to nourish yourself. If you don't have somebody in your life, romantically, maybe make a goddess bath, um, light some candles, buy yourself a little flute of champagne. I always like to say in the 90s and kind of the mid to late 90s, I lived in Chicago. It was after a divorce, and I've been married twice. I was working in the restaurant business and doing TV commercials and modeling, and I was always single at Valentine's Day. I lived there by myself for years, and so I'd go to. It was so depressing for me going to work. I worked at a high-end steakhouse, and Valentine's Day was a madhouse. I even wrote a short story. I'll put the link in the comments. In the little, where. I'll put the link.
You know where they're
You know
right
where
there.
to go to
Right.
the to my short story called Amateur Night. It's on Amazon, and it talks about that when I worked at that restaurant and I would come to work on Valentine's and everybody's getting like a diamond ring, and they're on dates and they're drinking champagne and getting engaged, and I'm like single working my fingers to the bone there, because these holidays are crazy when you're working in the restaurant because it has a special menu and you're not used to it, and there's people coming in, and we call it amateur night because it's the people like from the suburbs would come in and they'd save their money, and they'd have this big expensive night. They're not used to going out to fancy restaurants, or so we'd call them. I mean, it sounds really snobby, you guys, but we would like,
No,
oh,
I
the,
get it. I
the
get it.
amateurs are out, the ones that are
Well,
used.
that, and that, and they're not used to it. They aren't there
Yeah,
every
yeah,
week,
yeah,
kind of thing. But
yeah.
to your point, I'd also say, see, if I were to go to that or even work there, and were I to be single, I would bask in all that love energy and that
Yes.
excitement of, oh, they got engaged. She said yes. It's like roses. I mean, flowers, champagne, all of it. Just you want to bathe in that. And
I
to
and I
your
was
point,
not
to your
I was
point
I
earlier,
was not
yeah,
mature back then. I was bitter.
yeah. But you get it now.
I
Yeah,
get it now. I was in
yeah.
my 30s
As
then.
you said that, I released bitter, by the way,
Thank you.
because
Yeah, yeah. No,
so
I'm
many
not bitter
people are,
anymore.
yeah, so many people are hung up on the past, and Freddie didn't call me back, or they're mad about their divorce, or fill in
Yeah,
the blank. Doesn't matter, man, woman,
exactly.
whatever. You've got to get out of all that in order to co-create something new. Also, listen to this. You're going to love this, Marla.
Okay.
We're doing a monthly little put together. It's a prayer and affirmation piece. This January was all about abundance and whatnot, but we did love for Valentine's time and all about love. And I did, when we recorded that, I had birds, the doves, land right outside my window, and they were calling, 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 and I felt my own heart expanding, and I was getting really, really hot recording it even, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I'd read it 500 times, but there was something magical about when we did it live and we're putting it out to the world. It was profound. So that's coming
Oh,
out too. So
oh,
yeah,
good. Okay.
it's like 10 minutes long. It's very
Yes. Yeah.
inexpensive, but people need to pick that up if they really want to
Hmm.
boost the love piece, because it did it for me. I was shocked,
Oh my
shocked.
gosh. Okay, I
Hmm.
can't wait to listen to that. So Jimmy's
Hmm.
website is flashing up on the screen right now. Yeah, and get on Jimmy's newsletter. He has a fantastic newsletter every week. He's got so much, information and videos and jam-packed with and even
Tons
fun
of,
stuff.
yep, tons of stuff in there, and a ton of stuff that's free. So
Yes, a
enjoy
ton
it,
of free
pick it
stuff.
up. we really do put it out there for everybody. We want to see everybody make a little progress every day.
I know you give so much, Jimmy. You're so generous. And if you want to go to my website, it's flashing up, and get on my newsletter. You get a free guided meditation to raise your frequency. There's also a boundary one, which is very, very important. Boundaries. I'm a boundary coach, and so we've got to have strong boundaries, and boundaries with ourselves. And if you feel like even a boundary of, should I text? I haven't heard from him. Should I text him? No. No.
There you go.
Keep
Be
your little
strong. Be
keep
strong.
your little fingers off that. If he wants to, and I just said that to myself when I was I was so dysregulated when I was in my 30s, after I had been married for 7 years to a French chef, and I got a divorce, and I was so dysregulated and so anxious, and had this anxious attachment style. And if a guy, we really hit it off, had this synergetic sparks flying date, and then I'd never hear from the guy again, and I'd be like, how come he's not calling me? What's going on? And I'd even think maybe he had an accident, maybe he's in a coma, maybe he's but they were never dead. They were never dead. They were never in a coma, but literally. And then I said to myself, I heard a voice in my head, myself, my higher self, probably saying, Marla, if he wanted to talk to you, he would call you.
Yeah, remember it was the old book. He's just not that into you.
He's just not that into you.
You want somebody that's into you. You want somebody that's going to text you, follow up with you, all that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Love it.
Okay, everybody. Thanks, Jimmy. And
thank you.
Leave us comments below and let us know what's going on. What are you doing for Valentine's Day? How do you feel about it? And if you need some help and support, if you need a reading, contact me, reach out to either of us. We've got a lot of offerings, and we'd love to help you and hear from you. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.